Usually when we think of a bank heist, you picture alarms blaring, shattered glass, maybe a getaway car. It's loud, it's obvious.
Right, like a massive, highly visible breach of security.
But the greatest heist happening right now is completely silent. It's happening in your pocket, on your desk, maybe even in your hand right this second. And what's being stolen isn't money, it's your attention. Welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah, we are looking at a really fascinating stack of sources today.
We are. We've got a neuropsychology article on digital addiction, a systematic review on phubbing, and a policy brief on workplace digital rights.
And our mission today is to basically decode exactly how technology is engineered to hijack your brain.
Right, to examine how it's reshaping your relationships and your work and, uncover evidence-based ways to reclaim your time without just tossing your phone into the ocean.
Because it is a systemic issue, and to really understand it, we have to start with the biology, specifically dopamine.
Oh, definitely.
There is this pervasive myth that dopamine is the pleasure chemical, but it's actually your brain's seeking system. It drives anticipation and motivation, not the actual satisfaction itself.
Okay, let's unpack this. So you're saying dopamine isn't the reward itself. It's just the alarm bell telling me a reward might be nearby.
Precisely. You are seeking a reward, and digital platforms weaponize this using what psychologists call variable ratio reinforcement.
Variable ratio reinforcement.
Right. If every scroll gave you the exact same mild amusement, you'd put the phone down. But because you never know if the next swipe will be a boring ad, a stressful news alert, or a highly entertaining video, your brain stays locked in a ludic loop.
The ludic loop.
Yeah, which is essentially a repeating cycle of uncertainty, anticipation, and feedback. The apps basically turn your phone into a pocket slot machine.
It's like when you mindlessly open the fridge. You aren't actually hungry, you're just hoping new, delicious food magically appeared since you checked 10 minutes ago. But I notice I can't even sit through a full movie anymore without checking my phone. Is the technology literally degrading my brain's capacity to pay attention, or is something else happening?
Well, it's less about a shrinking capacity and more about neuroplasticity. I mean, your brain is highly adaptable.
Right.
When it gets chronically exposed to high-frequency, effortless digital rewards, your baseline for satisfaction actually drops.
Oh, wow.
So analog activities that require sustained effort, like reading a book or having a slow conversation, suddenly feel agonizingly boring. Your reward threshold has simply shifted.
Because our baseline for satisfaction has dropped, we don't just lose focus on a movie, we lose patience with other human beings. Which brings us to the research on phubbing, or phone snubbing.
Yes, and that's exactly where the research divides. The displacement hypothesis is essentially the idea that quick digital validation is physically replacing our real-world emotional connections.
But I have to push back here. Are phones really the root cause, or are we just using them as an escape from already uncomfortable social situations?
That is a very fair point. Many people do use their devices as an emotional escape hatch from anxiety or awkwardness.
Yeah, like avoiding eye contact at a party.
Right. But the research shows it creates a vicious cycle. You use the phone to avoid discomfort, which starves you of genuine connection.
Which breeds deeper loneliness.
Exactly, driving you right back to the screen for synthetic comfort. And this isn't just a teenage issue. The data highlights a severe rise in reverse phubbing, where children are constantly ignoring their parents.
With reverse phubbing.
Yeah, children ignoring their caregivers.
Which severely diminishes the caregiver's mental health and role fulfillment. We assume kids are just being rebellious, but they are trapped in the exact same variable reward slot machine as the adults.
Absolutely. When a child ignores a parent, they aren't necessarily rejecting them. Their neuroplasticity has simply been trained to view a slow, analog conversation as less stimulating than a 15-second video.
That is honestly terrifying.
It is the biological reality of it, and that constant demand for high-frequency stimulation makes deep work nearly impossible to.
Right, and the policy brief highlights how this plays out globally. Look at India's always-on culture, where 51% of the workforce is clocking over 49 hours a week.
It's creating mass burnout, really.
And fatigue-driven presenteeism. People are at their desks, but their output is completely degraded.
Yeah, they are just staring at screens.
Here's where it gets really interesting. In proposed solutions, we're always just told to use willpower and log off. But relying on willpower to fight an algorithm is like playing chess against a supercomputer.
Right. It has already calculated your next 10 moves based on the millions of games it played today.
Exactly.
It's an unwinnable battle because willpower is a finite resource. Instead, the research points to friction design.
Wait, friction design?
Yeah, deliberately making your tech harder to use, like switching your phone to grayscale to start triggering your visual reward centers.
Oh, that makes total sense.
But friction design still relies on you. This is why we need structural boundaries, like the right to disconnect policy.
Which Portugal implemented, right? They created labor laws that actively penalize employers for contacting workers outside of official hours.
Yes, and the mechanism there is key. By legally penalizing the employer, the policy shifts the cognitive load entirely.
So it removes the employee's fear of missing out, or FOMO.
Exactly, neutralizing the workplace anxiety loop at the source. You don't need willpower if the structural boundary prevents the text from being sent in the first place.
So to summarize our deep dive for you listening, your attention is being systematically mined by private companies using your own neurobiology.
But you can protect it by building friction into your life, both personally and through structural policy.
It's about recognizing the biological manipulation so you can reclaim your agency.
Right, changing the locks on the vault.
Going back to that silent heist we started with, if the vault is your mind, you do have the power to change the locks. But I want to leave you with a final provocative thought to mull over.
Oh, lay it on me.
As algorithms become increasingly predictive and digital immersion becomes the seamless default for everyone, will the ultimate status symbol of the future simply be the ability to afford to disconnect?